First of 3 tutorial videos on linear regression on a TI-83. In this video we're going to be taking care of part 1 here, which is creating a scatter plot. So when you're creating a scatter plot, probably the most important step, the first thing you want to do is identify your explanatory and response variables. So what I'm saying is you're going to have 2 different sets of variables, and it's important to figure out which one is your x value and which one is your y value. Your explanatory variable, maybe I change color here, and I say that your explanatory is kind of the cause, is a way to think about it, whereas your response you can kind of think of as your effect. So I find that a little bit more helpful. The idea there is what I have is how much snowfall there was on a certain day, and how many accidents, car accidents, I don't know, maybe on a stretch of highway or on a pass or something, whatever. But the point here is the number of accidents does not cause snow to fall, right? The amount of snow we have certainly could cause car accidents. So the idea is that in this case, the explanatory variable, the cause, is our snowfall. So I want to label this explanatory, whereas the accidents would be our response. And what's important to know is that your response will be your y variables and your explanatory will be your x's. So step 1, very important step, is identify which set of data is which. I was kind of nice, I gave the x first and then the y second. That won't always be the case. It's possible to just be given 2 sets of data and you have to figure out which would cause the other one, which would cause which. So that's step 1. Step 2 is enter your data. Maybe I'll write C entering data video. I made a separate video on this, but following that video should take care of everything you need. You hit stat, you go under edit, and you type your data into lists. We have 2 different sets of data, so type them into 2 different lists. What you'll see is I put this explanatory variables here in L1 and the response variables in L2. So enter data, and maybe I'll even say note which list contains x's and which contains y's. So that's step 2. Step 3 is kind of program, turn on, I don't know, let's say turn on your scatter plot. Your scatter plot. And the way you do that is under stat plots. Or I guess it's stat plot on the calculator. So what you do is you hit second and then y equals to get under the stat plot menu. So I'll hit second and then y equals. Guess I can write that down here. Second, y equals. And that brings you into your stat plots menu. Go into one of them and turn it on. I don't know, let's just say turn on. Select first type, reference appropriate lists. So what I mean by all that is, first of all, turn it on. Mine's already on, but if yours was off, go over here and select on and hit enter. Then go down to type. It's this first type here. You may have seen some of these other types by now. This first one is the scatterplot type. And then you go down, and under my X list, I want to put the list that I put my X values in. Recall your X values are your explanatory variable. I put those into L1. L1's already selected there, but if it didn't say L1, I'd hit second and then 1, and L1 would pop up. And then my Y list, I put my Y values in L2. So I want to hit second and then 2, and then L2 will pop up here. And now I've programmed my scatter plot. Now it knows exactly what kind of plot I want it to make. So our last step, step 4, is to zoom appropriately. Probably seen this a little bit by now, but the idea is you can either go under this window menu and select exactly what you want the window to be, But I think an easier way is to hit the zoom key, and then I think it's 9 for zoom stat. So if you do zoom stat, your calculator will know you're doing statistics stuff, and it'll kind of guess at what window you want. So if you hit zoom here, and then it's the 9th thing on this list, you can just, well, what did I hit zoom? Zoom, and then the 9th thing on this list is zoom stat. So you can either just hit the 9 key or scroll down to 9 and hit enter, and bam, there's your scatter plot. Maybe I'll say step 5. You can trace if you really want to. So they don't label the axes too great here, so if you hit this trace key, like if you were trying to copy this down, you can kind of scroll through and see all your observations. So for example, this one that's highlighted up here is when my x equals 8, my y equals 39. Looks like that's this observation right here. When I had 8 inches of snowfall, I had 39 car accidents. And so all my observations are listed in here. So I guess that's the end of the scatter plot. That's about all I got for this video. So to see least squared residual line, the LSR line, and residuals, take a look at the next couple videos.